events there in Baton Rouge and in other American cities over the past few weeks will definitely play into the theme here tonight at the Republican convention, where Donald Trump is making the case that he can keep America safe. I'm joined now by Republican Congressman Tom Cole. He hasn't missed one of these affairs since his very first convention, you were telling me, back in 1976. But I wonder if in recent memory, Congressman, you've been to a convention that started with boos against the party for not allowing anti-Trump protesters to have their voices.
No, I haven't. It's certainly unusual. I think we've been watching Question Time too much in the British Parliament. So the audience participation is a little bit unusual, but it reflects the reality on the floor. I mean, we're still in the process of coming together as a party. I think we will. I actually think the selection of Mike Pence was a terrific move in that direction by Mr. Trump. And I think, frankly, the final three candidates, Christie Gingrich also in the mix, sort of reassured a lot of Republicans. But again, people feel strongly. They're delegates. They got here legitimately. They're allowed to voice their opinion.
Is Donald Trump the best candidate for the Republican Party going into the election in November?
I'll tell you that in November. I think he's the candidate that the largest percentage of our voters wanted. No question about it. He won fair and square. He brought a lot of new people into the primary process. Some of them perhaps have been November voters.
But what do you, as a kind of lifelong Republican who's been in this party for years, who's been in Congress for years, make this candidate who's so untraditional, who is clearly very divisive?
Well, I think we're going to have to be a little untraditional to win. You know, we've been very traditional the last two contests and lost, and we clearly have to attract a different kind of voter. I think the mere fact that he's making the Rust Belt states we've not won, like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, Michigan, since 1988, major targets in this campaign, is extremely important. And it shows he's trying to change the map, as we put it in America. And that's going to be necessary. Now, in doing that, you're going to attract some new elements, and there's going to be some tension in that.
What do you make of some of his more Muslims should be banned from entering the United States?
Well, I think he's backed off that, and he should, because it's clearly unconstitutional.
He's sort of backed off
unwise.
it.
Well, I don't think he likes to admit when he changes positions, but I must say I don't know many politicians that do. But in this case, you know, some of our best allies in the war on terror obviously are Muslim. Best forces on the ground are the Kurds. They're Muslim. We're flying many of our airstrikes out of Turkey, obviously a Muslim country. The best front state leaders, probably King Abdullah in Jordan, so a Muslim and a tremendous
So I'm assuming
ally.
You don't love the idea?
Well, no, I think it's a terrible idea. I think it is unsafe for the country, and I think it's unconstitutional. Now, he's now backed off and taken up what was essentially the House position, which is if you're coming out of an area rife with terrorist activity, we have to have the appropriate vetting, which is much more severe than it would normally be for somebody coming from a friendly country.
How important is this week and this convention to Donald Trump's chances of winning the election?
I think it's extremely
November?
important. More Americans will see him in the next 4 days than have seen him in all the primaries combined. And Americans that are not just reliable Republican voters will be watching. And obviously the world media is here and the American media here will interpret everything that's seen and said. So it's a tremendous opportunity to change things for the better, change the narrative if you want to. And it's going to be unusual because it's different than any other convention we've had.
If you could ask Donald Trump to do one thing in terms of his tone, what would it be?
It would probably be to reach out and embrace the entire Republican family across the board, even people that I think perhaps have not been fair to him, because he did win fair and square, but also to reach out to the changing demographics in this country. You know, Hispanic population is enormously important in the United States. African American population is a population that's been locked into the Democrats for 40 years. I mean, that's a population we ought to be able to reach. So you've got to do some of that, and I think you've got to show, you know, what kind of person you are beyond a political figure, and perhaps having so many members of the family here will give us some insight into that.
Congressman Cole, thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you.